STMK Radio 100. 100. 100.
Tell you something, we gotta stop the violence, we gotta vote. Stop the violence and vote.
If people say your dreams are crazy, if they laugh at what you think you can do, good. Stay that way. Because what non-believers fail to understand is that calling a dream crazy is not an insult. It's a compliment. Don't try to be the fastest runner in your school or the fastest in the world. Be the fastest ever. Don't picture yourself wearing OBJ's jersey. Picture OBJ wearing yours. Don't settle for homecoming queen or linebacker. Do both. Lose 120 pounds and become an Ironman after beating a brain tumor. Don't believe you have to be like anybody to be somebody. If you're born a refugee, don't let it stop you from playing soccer for the national team at age 16. Don't become the best basketball player on the planet. Be bigger than basketball. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. When they talk about the greatest team in the history of the sport, make sure it's your team. If you have only one hand, don't just watch football, play it at the highest level. And if you're a girl from Compton, don't just become a tennis player. Become the greatest athlete ever. Yeah, that's more like it. So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
STMK Radio 100. 100.
Man, I dig inner monologues. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, look, a fillet of fish just sitting here in my mind being all delicious. Hey!
That's my sandwich.
What? How did you get in my inner monologue?
Door was open. Give it back.
Man, get your own invisible sandwich.
Any day is a great day for a Filet-O-Fish sandwich. And right now at McDonald's, you can get 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches for only $3.33. For limited time only, prices of participation may vary.
get it. Right on.
You're listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with your host, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100, 100, 100.
Yes, this is a PSA, a public street announcement. You are now listening to a Kickback production. Light up your L's, lean back, and listen.
Don't look so sad. I know it's over. Yeah. I feel real good right now. I feel like I want to play right now, y'all. Yeah, I feel like the dog want to play. Yeah, I'm back, yeah. The dog back on the prowl. Yeah.
Sir Charles, with almost 6 dozen songs written, Sir Charles is a dynamo when it comes to creating. The singer-songwriter comes prepared with his keyboard in tow as he molds words and sounds together to make music that has been featured on over 100 radio stations both nationally and internationally. He's also an award-winning songwriter who won the Best R&B and Soul Song Award. His latest, Girl, You Must Be Stalking Me, is on track to continue his success. Sir Charles has graced the small screen twice in his career, once in Washington as part of a charity event and the other in Mississippi when he was on Spotlight in Jackson County. Being a maestro, Sir Charles is no stranger to the accolades, but when you create music like his, it's to be expected. From his debut album, Call on Me, to his latest single, Girl, You Must Be Stalking Me, Sir Charles has presented a well-rounded and endearing essence when it comes to R&B music. That likely stems from his childhood, one spent listening to the likes of Tyrone Davis and Al Green. Both of those men influenced a young Sir Charles to not only sing, but how to just do his thing and do it better than anybody else. He was also inspired to love and spread it. Love is a commonality in all of his music. He notes love is what we need in this world. So much going on, we need to show more. In the coming months, Sir Charles will be doing a pair of great things. In April, he'll be in Los Angeles at a gala where he's nominated for Artist of the Year. A couple months later, he'll head to Florida in June, where he'll be performing at a grand blues festival for the Bikers of Pensacola.
Don't look so sad. I know it's over. Yeah. But life goes on. And this world keeps on turning. Yeah. And just be glad we had this time to spend together. There is no need to watch the bridges that we burn. Lay your head on my pillow, sweet babe. Hold your warm and tender body close to mine. Hear the whisper of the raindrop rolling softly. That's how I know ain't all this night. Keep you love me one more time. Put the time. Put the time. I don't know. I'm sure you find another. But me to be the blood. I'll be here. I'm gonna stay right here till you find what you need. Don't say a word about tomorrow. Forever, ever, and ever, and ever. There'll be times in this year when you believe. Put the time. Put the time. Lay your head I'm sure you find another. You remember, I'll be here. Yeah, the song's on.
Hey, welcome Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and our 34 affiliates. ATL's in the house. Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, Chicago, and LA. Hey, with me right now is a singer-songwriter who comes prepared to put on a show with hits like "You Cheating on Me," "Baby, you're going to miss me," and the hottest one that we played that's on the airway right now, "Let It Be the Night." Southern Soul, R&B, Big Dog, Sir Charles is in the house with us tonight. And as everybody know, he's from the state of Mississippi, and Mississippi has put out over 275 top-notch blues singers. So we're going to talk right now on the telephone to the big dog himself. Sir Charles, welcome.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Sir Charles, we appreciate you being here with us today. You're on Podcast Nation right now, and then Stop the Madness, keep it 100. What you want to say to our audience before we get into our Q&A?
I just want to say I'm glad to be here. You know, glad to be a part of this. Stop the Madness.
You know, Sir Charles. Before I get into that, do you know this? You from Gulfport, Mississippi? You said, or Moss Point, Mississippi?
Yeah, Moss Point.
You know that Mississippi has put out some hell of a fire singers like B.B. King, Willie Brown, Bobby Bradford, Jerry Butler, Sam Cooke, James Cotton, Bo Digley, Howlin' Wolf, he was from West Point, and Little Milton, and for everybody up north, I know you know this one, David Ruffin, the lead singer of the Temptations. So, Sir Charles, tell us what got you into music?
Well, my mother, she got us going early, man. Like, my mother was a songwriter. She wrote this hit called Put on Your Red Dress Baby, call we going out tonight. You ever heard that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, she put on your red dress baby, call we going like, put on your red dress baby, call we going out tonight.
Okay.
My mother's the original writer. Yeah, my mother's the original writer to that song. And when I was a kid, man, she wrote a song, gospel song called The Holy Bible is Right. And we all practiced this song, and then when we got in front of the church, nobody wanted to sing it. I might have been 6 years old. And they got around, and I said, somebody got to lead it. So I stepped up and started leading, and I've been singing ever since.
So when you put your first album out there, that was your first album was Call on Me, correct?
No, my first one Need to Be Loved.
Oh, that wasn't the first. Okay, so that was the first one. So when you did Call on Me, how many hit tracks was on that one?
Call on Me.
Yeah.
10.
Oh, okay.
10. Yeah, 10.
So when you started the question from the chat room, I'll go into this one because we was playing your song. When you made Let It Be the Night, what was you thinking about?
Well, I was thinking about, man, that guys, man, they go out, they working, you got people out on the water, man, and they come in. And, they ain't got time to be whining and dining, man. So I wrote the song to Let It Be the Night. We can do the same thing tomorrow, but we need to do this thing tonight, you see.
And
that's why
you write and compose your music and everything also, right?
I do it all.
You do it all. Okay. Now, everybody in the chat room, they was listening to, before we came on in the last commercial, they was listening to, because we're going to have you live in the Blue Room. So they're going to hear you sing a couple of songs. Matter of fact, when Stop the Madness come on the air Thursday live, they're going to have you also featured on their show coming up and everything. So I want to ask you this: how many albums have you put out?
Man, when I put out Need to Be Loved, Call on Me, Shake It, and I put out 4 albums, and the rest of them is singles.
And now you got a hit song out now called You Got to Be Stalking Me, or you out of the one you got out on me now, girl?
Oh, you talking about the one, Girl, You Must Be Stalking Me.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't released that yet. That hasn't been released.
But that had been.
I just played it.
Oh, you're in the process of writing it? Oh, you're in the process of writing that up and everything?
Oh, I got it ready. I just haven't released it. That's all. I'll play it out there, but I haven't released it on no distributor just yet. But I'm gonna put it on my next CD that I'm working on.
Okay, because you're also a Facebook hit sensation. You got like 3 or 4 pages, and you do concerts on Facebook and everything. And people, I want y'all to really know Sir Charles. I think it's Sir Charles 101. I mean, he be laying it down. You heard that one hit. The other hit that you had that we couldn't get, that we was really worried about, "Cheating on Me." Is that similar to Johnny Taylor's, or is it on that line?
Well, something like that. Well, like I say, my mentor was Mr. Tyrone Davis. So that's why I like saying Tyrone. So, but like I say, I got the style like Tyrone Davis. You know, like I say, he was my mentor. You know, when I was a young man, I used to go around, Louisville, different places, and I always sung his songs. So he inspired me, Tyrone Davis.
So let me ask you this: everybody's asking the question, where can they get your music at?
You can get my music at cdbaby.com.
Okay, CD Baby.
Yeah.
Also, if they wanted to book you or bring you up for something, is there a website, or how do they get in contact with you?
You can call this number, the same number you calling me now.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna put it out. I won't put the number out on there, but we'll put it out on our website on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 webpage, and if you want to get the CD Baby or get a number to book. So you've been singing and entertaining since you were 6 years old.
Yeah, it's around 6 years.
So
Yep.
when you got into the business and you started singing, you said you was in church, so you had to do like an adjustment, because I know you wasn't singing love songs and stuff in church. But when you got into the business and you was looking at Tyrone and Johnny and Johnny Taylor and all them, did you tailor off of them, or did you get your you took a little swag here and then you refined it up to the way you wanted it to be?
I kind of I think I took a little from all of them, man. Like what I'm saying is I was raised on Tyrone, Johnny Taylor, all the great blues singers. I was raised up on them, you see. So I've been touched by all of them. So like I said, I'm here in Malvern, Mississippi. Like I say, when I was coming up, we had the jip boxes. You know what I'm saying? We had BB King, all the boys. So I say I'm cross between all of them, so I can do them all.
So you not only do you sing, what instruments do you play?
I play keyboard.
Okay, you play the piano, keyboard. Okay. So going down into this, when you started, did you get into a band, or were you a solo singer, or how did you start your career off?
Well, I started off with a band called Live Five Show and Band. We was the house band at the House of Jazz for 5 years. So, I started out with the Live Five Show and Band. And reason why I started playing the keyboard is because after 5 years, man, it just broke up for no reason. I never could understand why. Why did we break up? But I said I was going to teach myself to play keyboard. That way I can play by myself. And so that's what I do today. So I've been playing the keyboard now about 20, 25 years.
So
30 years.
So when you write your music, do you you don't have a production company or nothing? Everything you handle everything at that self, so that way you don't have no overhead?
Yeah, everything I do, everything comes to me 100%. Nobody got nothing, dog.
Now, when you was cutting your songs and you was up and you was in the band, everybody looks at the music record like up in Detroit with Gordon and all the rest of them, and then you come down with Quincy Jones. That it was hard getting into the business, and you didn't own your rights and everything. So you did you learn from that, or were you aware of that problem? That's why you didn't go into companies and stuff.
Yeah, I find out, man. Hey, man, we always been a slave, man. Hey, when you sign to record deals, man, all you're doing putting yourself back in slavery, dog. You see. I mean, I can do the same thing for myself. They can do for me. You see.
And what made you go to social media as a platform to put your stuff out there? Were you like advertising for gigs, or was this a way to get your music known, or was this just something that you started doing and you just loved to keep doing it?
Well, what happened was, man, I was just I would I was on number one news, and I was send my songs to to mentions. And one of my friends one day, she told me, "Charles, why don't you start going live?" So I started going live, and that's when things kind of started taking off from me.
So the $99 question everybody want to know: Sir Charles, where did you get that? I know your name is Charles, but I'm just talking about what what forte, because your forte takes it out there. BB King, uh, Bobby Blue Band, Sam Cooke. They all had their thing, but you got that, like when you come out, Sir Charles, it's like rings it out into the stadium. Because when we did our promo for you, and we started playing your music and we started putting it out there, if you hear it over the radio, it's like Sir Charles. It just sticks out there. What made you think about that?
I didn't think about it. I didn't give it to myself. Somebody gave me that thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna tell you the story behind that.
Go ahead.
I was 19. I was 19 years old, and I was in Hattiesburg, Pennsylvania. And it was a little white guy, man. I used to sing all the time, walk around singing at the time. He said, Charles, he said, man, you can sing. He said, but you don't want it. I was like 12 months. He said, well, you don't want it bad enough that night. But he said, one day you're going to want it, and you're going to get it. He said, I'm going to name you Sir Charles. And that's where I got my name, Sir Charles. I didn't even give it to my sister.
So, have you done any videos or anything like that, movies?
No, I hadn't did movies.
So, when in your songwriting, do you write songs for other people? And
well, basically, I just write for me. When I do things for other people, I put it out there for them, but they want this, they want that. You see. But when I write something, I give them what I want to give them, it's going to be that. But like I say, if you want me to write, and when I give it to you, you want me to do this, you want me to do that. Sometimes a person will take away the context of the song, what I'm trying to relate to them. See what I'm saying? So what I like to do, I like to write for me.
So as a lot of people don't understand is a Southern. See, let me put this agenda out there for everybody, because we Northern boys. So if I don't say it right, don't get mad at me. But the Southern R&B blues singer, they have a different. What I'm trying to say, a different flavor. It ain't the same. It ain't especially when you start singing a love song. It ain't the same flavor as it is up here at North. It's got that little. It's like it's got that special sauce touched on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a different there, man. I think it's got a lot to do with the culture. I think it got a lot to do with our ancestors. I mean, when we speak and everything. I think they got a lot to do with it.
So, right now, I know everybody's loving. When did it? Let It Be Tonight. That's not a new song. So, what is your newest hits that you coming out? Because I think the Let It Be Tonight came out earlier, correct?
Let It Be Tonight. Let It Be Tonight was my latest song that I did.
Okay,
I got more songs.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my latest song.
Oh,
that was my last song that I did and released on CD Baby.
Oh, okay.
Let
Okay.
It Be Tonight.
Oh, okay. Because I thought.
But like I say, I got songs right now. I got people. I got people all the time. Charles, I want you to do this CD and do this. And like I say, I got songs right now waiting on right now to do my next CD. Whoever come in and you don't really want me to do a CD, I already got my song waiting. I got guys that watch. They want to sign me up. They want to do it. See, I'm like this, man. When you're in business with me, man, when you tell me something, that's what I look for. You see.
Right.
You tell me one thing and you don't do what you say, that means that let me know I can't do business with you, dog. Because when you tell me something, that's what I'm looking for.
Right. And being in the business, as being in the media business, as I tell everybody, like in LA, we got people all out because we are a new podcast station taking over the web. And I tell all our hosts and everybody, so I understand what you're saying. Your word is your bond. Like, we got a guy named Sax Man who just kicked out on his own show, and we're moving up and kicking out. We got some music that you send us that we playing, and we want everybody to go to CD Baby and give Sir Charles some love. But let me ask you right here, Sir Charles, when you kicked it out, what is that you won an award for? You're award-winning songwriter, and you won that award. What song was that for?
Let It Be Tonight.
Oh, Let It Be Tonight. Okay, that's the one that you won the award.
But like I said, I got 3 awards with songs. I got the one seat down. I got an award for that. I got an award for Nothing You Can Do.
And you're gonna be appearing in L.A. and Florida in June.
Well, I supposed to, like I said, the last 2 years I supposed to been in L.A. man for the for the red, get out on the limo and all this. I don't care about all this stuff. going to go to Hollywood, go to Los Angeles, get in limos. Ray, I'm supposed to do all that, but I don't care about that stuff, man. You know, I don't care about that.
So you up for an award, right? They're putting you in for the Artist of the Year award.
Yeah, I supposed to came up for Artist of the Year last year, like the last couple of years, man. I got to say, I got awards for Let It Be the Night. I got awards for Nothing You Can Do, and I got awards for One See That.
And are you going to be at the Blues Festival in Pensacola?
Well, I don't know. Ain't nobody invited me. Nobody had me invited.
Well, we gonna have to change all that because we have a festival called Freaknik, but it's not like Atlanta Freaknik, but almost where we get all the old entertainers up here, George Clinton, and a lot of them come into the town, and from a Friday to like a Sunday night, everybody just play 24 hours around on the thing. We're gonna have to put your name up there and see if we can get you up here with us. We have to talk to the producers. So, right now, if I was a young man listening to you, thinking about getting into the business, what advice can you give me?
To be consistent, man. Don't take no for an ounce, and don't. When a person say what you can't do, that means you can do it, dog. Just keep on going. You don't take no for an ounce, dog. Once you put it in your mind that you can do, when you conceive a thing, you can do it. You can achieve it. All you got to do is be consistent and don't give up, dog. That's all. So I've been doing this for 40 years, man.
So, you've been in the business for 40 years. So, when you come into the business now that you, like, as you said earlier, that you was in a band and the band broke up for no reason, so you started learning to do things that you didn't have to depend on people. Have you ever thought about getting your own personal band together and going back out, or you like it solo like you doing?
You know, I tried, man. See, I'm like this. You got people around here. I think what happened was during this time of the drug epidemic, man, now people don't have time to come in and do what they're supposed to do. If you got a band member or something, they got to come in. They got to put the time in order to reach where you're trying to get. You can't get it by coming to practice one day and then we'll see you the next week or 2 weeks. You got to come every day. You got to be persistent at it. And I don't see them kind of people out there. So what I do, I play by myself, man, and I'm good at it.
And I see that you preach love, and you know your genre is that love is need to be spreaded around. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's what we need right now. More about love. We need more love. You know what I'm saying? Because we got enough hate out there. All this stuff going around now, you know, man, like I say, I got some little text out today, man. Like I say, I put it like this now, man. We okay, like American wars, man. A black man that fought this country, wars for this country. Okay, for to keep them free. But you understand what I say? This is what I say. In order to combat this thing, what gets me, man, when I see the police beating our black women down, that would get me when I see them doing that to a black woman, just beating her down, you see, for no reason at all. You see, what it's telling me, okay, so this is the way I would do it. If I was a leader, this is the way such y'all would do it. First thing I do, I won't let I bring my young man would go to the military. What is I'm fighting for, dog, when I ain't got no freedom right here? I'm going over there trying to fight to free y'all, to keep y'all free. You see what I'm saying? Yet still, you know, that's really bothers me, man, to see what they doing us black people, you know, around the world.
Well, we're on that right now because we on this show right now on the Podcast Nation. After we get done talking to you as our featured entertainer, we're talking about voting. We talk about 45. As I tell everybody, Trump is in office because we allowed somebody else to take on their hate. Okay, and we didn't think about the consequences of people who hate what they can do if you put them in power, unchecked power, and that's what we're seeing right now. But let me say this in the entertainment world. When you was coming around the entertainment world, like Michael Jackson, what was some of the top? I know you said about Davis, that was who you was looking at, but what other artists did you like?
Al Green.
Oh, Al Green, yeah, because
like
Al Green started.
Al Green, Joe Simon.
Okay.
Sam Cooke, Curtis Mayfield, all the greats.
Because you know now,
Marvin Gaye.
Because you know Mississippi, as I said earlier, Mississippi has produced some of the hottest singers in the world.
You know what I always say?
Go ahead.
All the kings come from Mississippi, dog. All All the kings come from Mississippi.
Well, yeah, you can say that
It's
because
really-
when you start looking down the names of those people, and I just named a little bit of them when I brought you in about the artists that came from that point, like David Ruffin, Howlin' Wolf. He was from West Point, and most of them is from Clarksdale. But how many? Moss Point. How many people in that town? Is that a small town also, or is that close to Jackson? Or
It's a small town. It's down here about on the coast, down about the Lux and there with all the casinos and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's where we at down here on the coast. But one thing about my town, man, about my hometown, we got 5 guys with Super Bowl rings, dog.
Okay.
So all the keys come from here, dog. You got, like I say, in Mississippi, man, you got to be the best. And you got to be, it's a hard city, man. It's a hard city to grow up in order for you to, you got to be the best at what you do, dog.
So, are you still touring the nightclub scene, or are you done with that?
Oh, no, I ain't done with that. Like I said, I've been going live. I just been doing live broadcasts, man. You know
Okay. So let me ask you this
but
question before I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
Go on. I'm listening. I'm going.
No. In the chat room, I want to pull a question from the chat room before you go into the blue room and do your 2 hits. In the chat room, they want to know: are you married or single?
I'm been married for 34 years.
Okay, so are you have any kids?
I have 4 children. I got 2 boys. I got 3 boys and 1 girl.
Are they coming into are they taking your lead in the music field also, or?
Oh, well, they could, but they don't want to. My son, they play keyboard and rap, but that ain't what they want to do. I had my boys, I had the music in the store and stuff they were selling, but my son told me that I don't want to be no rapper, so I took their music out, and I had to respect it.
So right, but I'm gonna go back to this when you first started because I remember you said in the church, Aretha Franklin and Al Green. That's where they got their lead from.
Yeah.
So
that's where you get that feeling from, dog. That's where you get that feel.
So when you was in church, they made you the lead singer.
Right. That's where you get the feeling from, man. I used to sit down and watch. See, my mother kept us in the church, man, 7 nights a week, man. And I used to watch the preacher, man. I used to sit there and watch the preacher. So that's what I used to do, man. I used to watch that preacher. I used to watch his every movie. So that's why I'm good at what I do.
So right here on Podcast Nation feature audience. Old School 67 is in the house with us. What's up, Old School 67? We're gonna get you get some of that music and play over there on his agenda to get it up on you for you. When you look at what's going on in the music world today, and you look at all the people, platforms, and the money, because there's something missing when it comes to singing today. It's not like it was in the 70s and 80s, like when Lionel Richie and them got up like the Commodores just to get close to me. What do we have to do to get that type of music back, or is there something that we missing?
Yeah, what it is, people going to the digital program, man. They go to the digital program, they bring up the bass line, they bring up the guitar line. That's why they all sounding the same, you see. See, back in the day, they do everything live with live instruments. Now, these days, they don't even know how. You got guys out there can't play instruments. You know what I'm saying? But they go in their computer, they'll go in there and get them a program, and they'll plug a bass line, guitar line, and boom, that's what you got. And you got another one that's doing the same thing. That's why they all sound the same. That's what James Brown said, way back then. Yeah, back in the day, every artist had his own individual style. You see.
Yeah, because back in the day, if you look at it, when the Commodore sang "Just to Be Close to You," and the music went almost acapella, I mean, the voice and everything was so clear, you couldn't even tell that they dropped the music off of it.
Mm-hmm. It's different, man. Like I say, right now, it don't take much now. You don't have to. Another way, I'm putting like this, really based that the man is dumbing musicians down, dog. They're dumbing them down. You see, by having a program, they ain't got to go in there and put the hours in like I did on this keyboard and run off. You know, when I put the time in, they go and learn that program and they put it out there. So in other words, really, basically, the digital is really dumbing the musician down. Really.
So, Sir Charles, tell us, how much time do you spend in the studio daily?
All day, every day.
So
every day.
So you hear that, folks? If you're gonna do this, you have to put your time in, and
Yes, hey, I'm gonna tell you something. This is something I learned. See, I was well before some years. This is something I learned. You got to put a certain amount of time and everything to reach that perfection. You see, if you're doing anything, if you're building a building, you got an X amount of hours to build that building. You ain't gonna build it no sooner. You got to put the time in order to reach that perfection. See, and that's where I'm at. I come in like when I was earlier. I used to come in at 6 o'clock, and I'll be when I write my song, and I'll be shutting it down the next month. You see, that's how I do. You know, I don't come in there and just come in and be gone. You got to put your time. In order to be the best, you got to put in the time.
So
that's what I say.
So before we let you go, Sir Charles, tell us this: when you was on the road, did you spend a lot of time away from home, or you did a lot of local stuff?
Well, I did a lot of traveling when I was a young artist. I hadn't done no traveling as an older artist. When I was young, you know, me and my wife, with the group, we used to do different places. You know, when I was young, you know, we did that. And as they broke up, you know, like I say, I was out and watching. You know, I did things out and watching. I've been on television out there, different stuff. I done did some things, but like I say, I'm sitting back waiting on that I used to 30 city tour if y'all want to do.
Yeah, well, as all the artists, just when they come on, like when we talk to Jay-Z and all the artists, they talk about the hard work and they talk about the opportunities. Also, you know, the one artist like 50 Cent, I remember a quote that he told us on the last time we was on Stop the Madness and Keep It 100 was it's that you can't wait for somebody else's dollars in this business. You got to go out and get your own.
Yeah, you got to do your own thing, man. You got to go make it happen. Man. That's why, like I say, it taking me so long, man, because I ain't anybody help. And everything I did, all my CDs, I made all my CDs. I did the writing, I did the recording, I did everything. You see, that's what I do today. So that's why nobody got their hand in nothing but such y'all. That's it.
Well, Sir Charles, before we cut you off the air, because we're going to have you live in the Blue Room in a minute, and they're going to hear your songs that you gave us to put out there for you, and we're going to put them out there, and they're going to listen to you. And I want everybody who's listening to us, especially right there, I want you to go to CD Baby, and I want you to put in and pull up his CDs and buy Sir Charles some music and show Sir Charles some love. And get those CDs, and you're going to really love them, especially if you love Pokemon, Veronica Rayel, and the Southern Soul R&B singers. Sir Charles is right there because he reminds you of a old style Johnny Taylor, and we haven't had that type of voice in years. So you're going to love that. Sir Charles, we thank you for showing us all this love on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. But before I get you off the air, I want to give you a chance to talk to your audience in 32 cities all over social media. You're going to be going back YouTube live. You're going on demand to SoundCloud and Mixcloud. So tell our audience what you want us to know about you.
Well, I want you to know that I strive to be the best at what I do, you know. And like I say, it's all about love with me. I'm always writing love songs. I write songs, you know, like it's all depending on what mood I'm in. If I'm having a problem with my girl, like a lot of my songs mean I feel inspired by my wife. You know, a lot of times, you know, it's all depending on how I feel at the time when I write my song. But like I say, I've been getting ready for the world for 40 years, and I'm ready. And I hope they come out and, you know, download some of my music. I got over 60, 70 songs on cdbaby.com.
Audience, Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, Sax Man, Tone the Stone. That was Sir Charles, and he's getting ready to go into the Blue Room. Sir Charles on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, coming to you out of the Blue Room with his #1 hottest hit, Let It Be Tonight.
Need love let it be. You touching me, girl, tonight. Let it be tonight, girl. I want you right now, holding me, kissing me, yeah. Need a little love, need a little touching, need a little holding. All I'm lonely, I'm lonely, tired of sleeping by myself. Let it be you and me, girl, tonight, girl. Let it be you loving me tonight, girl. Lonely, need a little loving, need a little holding, need a little kissing. All I'm lonely, I want you right now. Let it be tonight, girl. I'm lonely, I need your love. Please, babe, feel my need. I'm lonely, I need your love. Need a little loving, need a little touching, need a little holding. Girl, I'm lonely. Let it be you touching me, girl, tonight. Let it be tonight, girl. I want you right now, holding me, girl, tonight. Such a dedicated to Mr. B.B. King, born in 1925 and 2015. King is gone, but his music lives on. In our hearts and minds, shared so many good times. Song about love, good times and bad times. Some to keep
Wow, that was Sir Charles. He laid it out, sax man, he laid it out. Hey, we're going to be right back. We're going to go pay some bills. Stay tuned.
With the Chase mobile app, Michaela the Prince could pay practically anyone at any bank, all while performing a grand jeté between two grand pianos. She could, in a commercial. In real life, she uses it to pay her sister from her couch for that sweater she stained.
What sweater? Life. Lived Michaela's way. Chase, make more of what's yours.
AP Radio News. Good morning. I'm Ed Donahue. The Secret Service says agents have intercepted packages with what are being described as possible explosive devices to former President Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Also, CNN says its offices in Manhattan were evacuated because of a suspicious package. The AP's Julie Walker reports the Hillary Clinton package was intercepted before reaching her home outside New York.
The U.S. official says investigators believe it's linked to one found Monday at the home of liberal billionaire George Soros.
The package to former President Obama was also intercepted before reaching him. The AP's Sagar Magani has reaction from the White House.
Spokeswoman Sarah Sanders says these terrorizing attacks are despicable and anyone responsible will be held accountable. In a written statement, Sanders says the Secret Service and other agencies are investigating and will take all appropriate actions to protect anyone threatened by these cowards.
Hillary Clinton is out of town. President Trump will be briefed tomorrow by CIA Director Gina Haspel about the death of Saudi writer Jamal Khashoggi in Turkey. Turkish officials say a Saudi team of 15 men tortured, killed, and dismembered Khashoggi. Prime Minister Theresa May says Britain is taking action.
My right honourable friend, the Home Secretary, is taking action against all suspects to prevent them entering the UK.
A Kansas man has been convicted of murder in the killing of a 3-year-old boy whose body was found encased in concrete. Another child has died following a severe viral outbreak at a rehabilitation center for medically fragile children in New Jersey. The total number of dead is up to 7. Willa is now a tropical depression after reaching land, hitting Pacific beach towns in Mexico. It's moving through northern Mexico and will reach the U.S. One winner in the big $1.5 billion Powerball jackpot sold in South Carolina.
3 City of Miami police officers on the other side of the law.
Instead of ridding our streets of drugs, which are ravaging our communities, these officers were willing to profit from money laundering and drug trafficking enterprises.
Tonight, the officers are off the job, arrested on federal drug charges.
Game 1 of the World Series goes to the Red Sox over the L.A. Dodgers 8-4. Game 2 tonight in Boston. This is AP Radio News.
Want to lose up to 9 pounds in the next 2 weeks? Now you can with a free 14-day results plan from Beachbody On Demand. It's easy. Just sign up, find your program, download your meal plan, and start streaming your workouts. 14 days from now, you could be up to 9 pounds slimmer. To unlock your free 14-day results plan, text the word podcast to 303030 and start getting results today. That's podcast to 303030 to get free results. Message and data rates may apply.
If you're like most Christians, there are people in your life who know you but may not know Jesus. You really want to do something about that, but don't feel equipped to share your faith effectively. In other words, maybe if you knew more, you could do more. Well, that's where the Tony Evans Training Center comes in. It's an online Bible school with classes that'll take you deep into the most important core concepts of the faith. You can start with our free introductory course on evangelism, then move on to subjects like spiritual warfare, marriage building, maturing in the faith, and many more. The content is challenging, but you can move through it at your own pace anytime you're online. There's also lots of custom content from Tony and an online forum where you can get your specific questions answered. Go to TonyEvansTraining.org and start your free intro course today. The Tony Evans Training Center, where you can explore the kingdom anytime, anywhere.
Stop the madness. Keep it 100. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100 with your hosts, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 with live call-ins, heated discussions about current events, politics, national news, weather, and sports. Join our live online chat room and let your opinion show. Download our phone app. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 on STMK Radio 100. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100. Call us at 1-866-484-7865. That's 1-866-484-STMK. Stop the madness. Keep it 100.
STMK Radio 100.
Remember how the economic crash was supposed to be a wake-up call for our government? People all across the country lost their savings, their pensions, and their jobs. I'm Tom Steyer, and it turned out that the system that had benefited people like me who were well off was in fact stacked against everyone else. It's why I left my investment firm and resolved to use my savings for the public good. But here we are 9 years later, and this president and the Republican Congress are making a bad situation even worse. They won't tell you that their so-called tax reform plan is really for the wealthy and big corporations while hurting the middle class. It blows up the deficit, and that means fewer investments in education, healthcare, and job creation. It's up to all of us to stand up to this president, not just for impeachable offenses, but also to demand a country where everyone has a real chance to succeed. Join us. Your voice matters.
Women like me aren't supposed to run for office. I wasn't born to a wealthy or powerful family. Mother from Puerto Rico, dad from the South Bronx. I was born in a place where your zip code determines your destiny. My name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I'm an educator, an organizer, a working-class New Yorker. I've worked with expectant mothers, I've waited tables and led classrooms. And going into politics wasn't in the plan. But after 20 years of the same representation, we have to ask, who has New York been changing for? Every day gets harder for working families like mine to get by. The rent gets higher, healthcare covers less, and our income stays the same. It's clear that these changes haven't been for us, and we deserve a champion. It's time to fight for a New York that working families can afford. That's why I'm running for Congress. This race is about people versus money. We've got people, they've got money. It's time we acknowledge that not all Democrats are the same. That a Democrat who takes corporate money, profits off foreclosure, doesn't live here, doesn't send his kids to our schools, doesn't drink our water or breathe our air, cannot possibly represent us. What the Bronx and Queens needs is Medicare for all, tuition-free public college, a federal jobs guarantee, and criminal justice reform. We can do it now. It doesn't take 100 years to do this. It takes political courage. A New York for the many is possible. It's time for one of us. Vote for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
You've been tuned in to Stop the Madness, keeping it 100 on STMK Radio 100. And now back to your host one more time, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone.
From 1999 to 2016, more than 12,000 North Carolinians died from opioid overdoses, and the majority of those overdoses were related to prescription opioids. To look at the true impact of the opioid epidemic, the overdose numbers are just the tip of the iceberg. This epidemic is devastating families. Healthcare facilities are being impacted by people not only overdosing, but suffering from complications, medical complications from addiction. So this is really impacting our society on all different levels. The easiest thing for us as a community to help prevent misuse and abuse of opioids is just be smarter about how we store and dispose of all medications, but especially opioids. And that means opioids should be kept out of sight and ideally locked up. 2 out of 3 people who misuse opioids reported that they originally got them for free from a careless friend or family member. So when you're done with your opioids, they need to be disposed of properly. And that doesn't mean putting it in the trash. It means taking it to a permanent disposal box. And as well, there also are periodic take-back events. You can search on the DEA's website for the nearest disposal box near you.
Hey, welcome back. Stop the Madness. Keep it 100. Free for all Thursday in Studio 51. Man, you know, I want to send out the special thanks to Sir Charles. I mean, that brother got some nice jams. Y'all really need to check it out. Oh, yeah, he got rid of some soul. You know, Sax Man. Sax Man.
You want to turn my mic on?
Yeah, your mic on, Sax Man. You just got to talk into it and talk a little
Yeah,
loud.
but you got to turn up like you did last week. You had it up a little louder. I heard myself talking.
Oh, yeah. Hey, put a little bass in it. You know, if you put a little bass in your voice, quit acting like the Mickey Mouse, you probably can speak up.
I want to know, how does the real Sir Charles feel about somebody else taking his title? Because, you know, that's Barkley. Charles Barkley was the original Sir Charles. Now, as of today, he is now.
Well, let me tell you this. If Charles Barkley can sing like that, then maybe he could come and challenge the brothers, but I don't think he can.
I'm going to find Sir Charles Barkley, and I'm going to ask him that question.
But I'm going to tell you, if he can.
I came in, I'm like, he talking to Sir Charles Barkley?
That's what I was like, whoa, we got Sir Charles in the house.
Hey, that's Sir Charles from Moss Point, Mississippi. Don't get it wrong.
Yes,
but you know, next week, we're going to have our pre-election show next Thursday for Free For All. And then we're going to go right into some problems here in the city of East Cleveland. We're going to talk about that with J. Mack.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, I'm looking at this right here because there's something I want to go back on from the last show we talked about that we didn't finish up on, and that was issue 1. Saxman, you know, the Republicans and a lot of people are trying to do fear-mongering to stop people from voting from issue 1. You know, after mass incarceration in the 80s and the crack epidemic and people being left behind and all the families that was broken and shattered.
Devastated.
Issue 1 is saying that they're going to put people in rehab and they're going to treat this issue. So what you think about it?
Well, the Chief Justice O'Donnell said that she thinks the 4th and 5th degree felonies being dropped and people being placed on probation is another way for the addicts not to go out and seek help, because they think that's a good way to get away with it. And that's what I'm saying as far as the pros and cons. But I think it's a good thing, but I think it's a bad thing too, because what she just said, it's going to give some, not all, some addicts an excuse to say, well, I no sense of me even quitting if I can go get high, and then they'll put me in treatment for a few months, and I can get right back out and continue to keep on getting high.
But look, on the other side of all the young black males is going to stop from
who said
being
yeah.
Who said that?
The Supreme Court Justice, I forget her first name, her last name is O'Donnell. She thinks that's another way for, not all addicts, some will think, well, just like the ones that you see that's been overdosing more than once and twice, that has gotten Narcan, has been brought back, and then they had to go back and get them again. So that's abuse. That's abuse of opioids.
But
that's what addicts do.
Right.
That's what addicts do.
Exactly.
And that's what she's saying. This issue 1 is going to give some addicts an excuse to continue and not go seek help.
But let me ask you this question right here before you go there, Jay, because I want you to answer this. Wait a minute, hold on, Jay. I want you to answer this question. They're not charging them now, and the addicts are still abusing it. So, but what about the young black males that it's going to save from being locked out?
That's the pro.
That's
what I'm saying. It's a pro and con.
And the non-incarceration of black males. But Jay, what you think about that?
Like he said, they're addicts, man.
Pull up to your mic, Jake.
No, they're addicts, and
But is issue 1 going to help?
They're going to have to if they're on probation, they're going to have to stay drug free.
Okay, but what if they don't?
They're going to jail.
So it's
either so you can't play with it. Either you're going to get some help.
Those that want help,
going to jail.
Those that want help will seek it. And those that really don't want help, they enjoy.
I mean, a lot of people, they're addicts.
Right? And that's what I'm saying.
They might want help.
But see, that's what O'Donnell was saying. It's a pro and con to this. It's a win and lose situation.
It's a pro and con of everything.
Yeah,
but Tom, what you think, Tom?
So as far as this judge is concerned, what does she care about more? Does she care about getting these people help, these addicts who are sick in the sense of the word? You know, they have a sickness. Does she want to give them help by any cost. I mean, you can't speak for her, but I'm just saying,
right.
what's more important? Locking people up is not necessarily going to fix anything.
And it
but
hasn't been working.
if you emphasize helping them, trying to help them fight this disease that they're struggling with, this addiction, and you can cure them. No system's perfect. Of course, there's going to be some people who abuse it, who try to take advantage of it.
Exactly.
That's with anything in the world. We're never going to live in a perfect society, unfortunately. So I think issue one overall, the benefits from what I've been seeing since I started paying attention to are much better. It's good to give people a chance. It's good to try to stop these, to bring these incarceration rates to a halt and lower them and stop imprisoning people for no good reason
sometimes jail helps addicts. It's a lot of addicts that
sometimes
that's what O'Donnell was saying.
But
in her
but you know
statement. That's what she was saying.
But you know what I want to say? I want to get away from the addict, okay? Because people who abuse drugs are sick and not thinking properly in their mind anyway. But I want to get away from them. I want to talk about the young black males that's being incarcerated for possession of drugs.
For selling.
Oh, I know they're on Instagram talking about you better go.
Even for possession, I can be.
Like if you out here hustling drugs and you don't vote, you're dumb.
Right.
Especially voting on
but
that.
Because
no, seriously.
Say this, Sax man.
All right.
A young white male. What everybody don't understand. A young white male can have an ounce of cocaine. Okay. Actually, an ounce of crack is not the same weight as an ounce of cocaine.
Right, because crack is heavier.
No, right, but it's not the same, because when you take the cocaine and the crack, you are not going to have an ounce of cocaine. Okay, you may have grams or less.
Right.
But due to the fact that it's crack, I go to jail for 40 years.
Right.
The young white male who has it go on probation. Pull it to your mic. Turn your mic down,
He got
John.
that lowered.
Right, but but that's what they're yelling about right here, because most of the people saying they don't want to get issue one passed. I mean, they're not for issue one because they don't want to take that discretion away from judges of sentencing people. Okay, and what I'm saying is that if me and Tony Stone is on the corner,
mandatory minimums.
Well, no. I understand what Sean's saying. Sean's saying with the judge's decisions of he can make his decision based on his feelings or the law itself.
I understand that.
They trying to make it to where it's mandatory.
But it's been mandatory.
No, it's not mandatory.
So on certain things, no. They did have certain. Wait.
No, wait a minute,
a
judge had his own discretion.
Wait a minute,
No.
Yes, he did.
No.
The judge. Wait a minute, hold on.
I've sat in court.
But John, you're right. But wait a minute. Federal court. Yeah, go ahead and talk. But it's federal court.
Okay. No, seriously. I went to court with a brother. I went to church with, and the detectives and prosecutors said we won't object to the judge setting, his own, his own rules, ruling on this case, because I guess the guy he cooperated a lot, But anyway, the judge still had to give him this certain amount of time. So it's been mandatory minimum.
Right, federal time. It's federal's mandatory minimum.
Yeah.
We're not talking about federal.
You're talking about state.
We're talking about state. See, in state court, if you have an ounce of cocaine, due to the fact that it's powder, you can get probation. Okay? But if you have it in rock form, you're going to jail for 40 years. So what I'm saying is that young black males who have the same amount of drugs or have less things that cannot afford the representation as a white male or his counterpart, the white male is going on probation and going into rehab. The young black male is going to do a 10-year sentence. Okay? There's a sentencing disparity there.
So I see how issue one can counterban that.
Well, issue one is saying instead of giving this person a felony 4 or 5, we're going to put him in rehab
and give him probation
and give him probation, put him in rehab, and bring the incarceration rate down.
And they say that's for like first or second offense. Third offense would be different, but they're only going to do it for like your first or your second offense.
Right, and then you have to look at this also. It's going to stop people from being locked out the American dream.
Right.
Okay, because once you get a felony, everybody knows they're sitting here at the table. Maybe Tone don't. He's a little young from the 90s or whatever.
Yeah, millennial time.
Yeah, millennial term. Once you get a felony, you done.
Yeah.
No, I know guys.
I know guys that
You-
survived.
Plenty
it.
guys.
I know guys
You're
that
locked
survived
out
it.
of pretty much.
Yeah, you locked out of
You're
the
pretty
real
I'm
good
about, I'm
shit.
on work for the post office, have government jobs.
Government has felony
Yeah, they
felony
have
programs,
They have
but
programs.
So you're saying locked out of the American dream.
you can't get.
I know people who are so-called living the American dream who've done major time for drugs.
But did they get their records expunged?
No.
They still got their record?
Yeah.
Well, that's 1 in a million.
You ain't lying because Cassandra McDonald
no,
right
that's-
now,
that's-
she's pushing for SB 66
Correct.
to have the law changed to where you can get more than 1 or 2 felonies
I mean, I know
expunged
people
off your
who've
record,
been to jail
and your harsh
have done
felonies
murder
dropped to
crimes.
misdemeanors.
No,
and
no.
I think that's a good
I'm talking
idea.
about I've done murder bits.
No, but I'm saying,
what I'm saying. No, listen, what I'm saying. If you come out and you have a different mind state, and you're not trying to come out and still hustle, do the same things you were doing, have a different mind state. You're gonna get it together.
And that's
it might be longer for you because you do have a past.
But that's what Cassandra McDonald is pushing for SB 66. If you come out after you got a felony, you can have whatever type of felony it is. You can have 2, 3, 4. All right, but you spent so many years, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of maintaining, being clean.
Exactly.
You re-entered society. You've been a pillar of society. You've donated. You've worked hard on soup kitchens. You've done something productive. You can file. She's trying to put this on the ballot now, so you can file to have your record expunged if you got more than 1 felony. Because Kasich only had us doing 1 felony, 2 misdemeanors. That's ridiculous. Because your average black and brown individual had more than 1 felony on their record.
But hold up right there, Sax, man. So I want to go over here also because, you know, what's going on in real time today. We got a lot of political people being threatened. And we have, I want to say this, and I don't care if you're Republican, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're white. For the first time in the history of the United States, we have had the attempted assassination since Kennedy, okay, of 2 presidents. No, I'm talking about just 2 days. The attempted assassination of 2.
Obama
and
Hillary.
Clinton. Hillary wasn't a president.
Well, okay.
Okay, 2 presidents.
2 presidents.
Clinton.
Okay.
And Obama. Okay.
But Obama after his presidency, that's weird.
Well, the problem is, I'm talking about the hate.
Yeah, the
okay.
hate.
People sending bombs in the mail.
They sent it to Clinton and the other person.
Well, they sent it to 8 different people, 10 different bombs. But what I'm saying is, we have had the attempted assassination of 2 presidents in the United States. Plus, we have had the attempted assassination of a sitting congresswoman, okay, a vice president, okay. Make no mistake about it. Bombs kill. When you send a bomb to a public official, that's an attempted assassination. I don't care if they got it. I don't care if it went off or not.
Yep.
That's what it is.
I don't care if it was intercepted in between. The intention to send it to that address, to that individual, that's attempted assassination.
And then, and you look at this, all the federal employees just put at risk. Then you looked at all the people around us just put at risk.
Right.
And everybody, the Republicans are acting like this is like it's a ghost story.
Right.
Okay. They talking about it's fake or whatever.
Right.
And you know, I'm gonna say this: when you do not check power, President Trump, if you notice, when he told everybody that he was a nationalist, I don't know if everybody here at the table understands when he said he was a nationalist what that meant. Okay, but I'm gonna say this: he meant that he was pure white.
I was going to say that's about white power.
Okay, pure white. And if you notice, the minute he said he was a nationalist, bombs started going out in the mail to Maxine Waters, to President Obama, okay, to Hillary Clinton, okay, to Robert De Niro, to CNN, okay, all out there, okay. There's a lot of evidence. Hopefully I think it's a group. I don't think it's one individual.
I don't think it's one individual either.
Because now they're saying some of this stuff was mailed from Florida. Okay, so it's got to be a group. But I do know this is that the FBI is good, and they're going to go get them. Okay,
I hope so.
And when they get them, they need to right then start the trial, the public trial. And when I say this, they need to throw the book at them.
Yep.
40
They
years.
need to execute.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I would go with that too.
Yeah.
If and the only reason I didn't say execution tone is because
your listeners.
Nobody has said if the bomb was actually were able to blow up here.
Wait a minute, Sean.
They said they detonated one of them in the Bronx.
Okay, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
CNN headquarters, they took it to the Bronx and detonated.
And
if they want to set the right example, they need to execute these people.
They have
send the right message.
Because Sean, you know the law. If you got a fake gun and you go into a bank,
it's still a gun.
It's still a gun, and you go, give me all your money, and the person you put the gun in have a heart attack, do you get charged?
You still get charged with murder.
Same situation.
But what I'm saying is this: is that we have went to a new level now.
Yeah.
Okay. And the level is this: we have people willing to kill someone over their political belief.
Exactly.
And the last.
Yeah.
We live in the United States.
That's where
what
it starts.
Do you mean a new level?
That's where it starts.
Let's start with the history of this country.
That's where it starts.
I can say that.
That's where it starts.
To our own people.
That's where it starts. I just said that's where it starts.
Y'all sitting there like, like a surprise. Like this is.
I'm not surprised.
This is going on.
This is where it starts.
Since Trump got
we have no.
Man.
We can't blame Trump. Wait a minute. We can't blame Trump for the hate, John. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying you. I've been hearing this over such a media. This administration is the worst, and this right
John.
here.
But this is
just
the first
it's
administration.
been like that since the beginning of the time.
But not this bad. This is the first administration that put it in your face.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Hatred has always been here, but you have not had a person in the White House who took the hate and rubbed it in your face.
Yeah.
That's new.
And flaunted it.
That's new.
He flaunted.
That's new.
I mean, maybe I wasn't here for 8 years of Bush.
Bush did not run nationalists in your face.
No, he sure did not.
No,
he did not.
No.
Are y'all for real?
Yes. He did not do that. I might have to disagree with you, John.
He ain't
We
never.
over there. We
He
still
ain't
in the
never.
Middle East now.
Wait.
Colored
John.
That has
John,
nothing to do with hatred in America.
No. That's what y'all think.
We go to war every day.
Y'all think like if it's only Americans, lives count?
No, our
so I don't want to hear this because it's
John,
Americans. We over there killing people. People all around the world are being killed.
John, we've been
Black,
killing people since
colored
America was good. We fight wars every day.
Exactly. So what?
But the difference is, John, we have not had a president who's supposed to represent you and hold you and protect you. See, the difference is not his policies that put us in war. It's his policies that put your life as a black man in danger.
Every day.
Man, what?
It's true,
Yes.
John. It's true, John.
When have they not been in danger?
John,
When they not been in danger?
John, you have not
When
lived.
have they
John,
not been in
but John,
danger?
you have not lived under Jim Crow law. That is what they're going back to. You have not been told you cannot walk out this
Oh no, you're
house.
right about that.
Okay,
I haven't.
so this is where we heading back to.
That's what I'm saying. But no. I don't.
We
think
got
so.
a dictator in office that can do whatever he wants and no repercussion. Period.
But Tone, wait a minute, hold on, Tone. What you
None.
What I think
about
We ain't never had that before.
when Trump said he's a nationalist and they put bombs up.
We ain't never had nobody that stood in office and tell you, "Fuck you, I hit you in the pussy," and nothing you can do about it. I can shoot 20 people on Wall Street, whatever, and nothing never happened. We never had.
First of all,
a leader like that.
We never had a leader, ever. Everybody praised Obama. He's the first black. He's the only president who made it legal to go against God's word.
Well, we talking about.
No. We go
Well, you can't bring religion into this.
Yeah,
no. That's not religion. The Bible's religion is a
because
set thing.
because everybody don't believe in God in America. So you can't bring. See, when you start bringing in.
No, you talking about. This is the only president who ever did this. People don't mention that because especially black people, because he was the first black president.
But the difference John, the difference the difference is he did not discriminate against people. Even if he didn't believe in God, he didn't discriminate against the people who believed in God.
So to answer your question, Sean, what did I think when I heard Trump say that he's a nationalist? So obviously, when he said it, I don't think he was being as blatant as saying, yeah, I'm a white nationalist, white supremacy. You know, of course, people going to try to spin it like
but
that.
his policies.
Hold on, but his policies.
Wait a minute,
I'm trying to answer your question.
Right.
I'm trying to answer your question.
I just want to show you the Central Park 5.
My initial thought was that he was trying to say he's an American nationalist. It's America or nothing. It's all about America. That's what I thought he was trying to emphasize with that statement. But of course, the white nationalists, the white supremacists that support him and follow and embrace the conservative policies, of course they're going to use that to their benefit and use it as a recruitment method or what have you to say, see, George,
Trump said go out there
Trump is 100% behind us.
Yes,
so it was foolish and careless and irresponsible of him to use that word, no matter what he meant.
But let me ask you this question.
But what does it matter? He's in.
Is he
gonna not be the president anymore?
We've been established that, John. We've been established that.
But John, it does matter because it comes to a Congress to check him. He can be checked.
Yeah, he most definitely can be
come
checked.
November 6th. See, this is the problem right here. We're talking about it, and we talk about it all the time. Trump can be checked. He can be put in his place just like a kid put in timeout, okay? But it's going to take a Congress who's willing to check him and not try to put their policies on America and force it upon other people. You got a Senate right now. The tax cut was supposed to be for the middle class and the rich. Now the middle class is getting hurt and the companies are closing. What are they saying? Oh, we're going to put another tax cut after you leave us in office. Don't throw us out. After you do that, we'll do this for you. Look at Harley closing.
That's how stupid he thinks these people are.
Well, they are. They are.
Well, they probably are.
No, they're not stupid. They're not stupid. I take that back. I want to apologize to everybody.
They're ignorant.
Nope, they're not ignorant neither. You know what the problem is? Is that there's so much hate for President
sign of stupidity.
Barack Obama that they're willing to do anything to strike him off the books to show that he couldn't be better than their race. Okay, so that's the problem we have right here. Okay, so what I wanted to go back to Tony Stone before we got off there, because Tony Stone, this is why I want to go back to you. When you said that wasn't a good thing for him to say, and you didn't do it. But when you go to the Central Park 5, when he said that them young black boys need to be executed,
even when they was found innocent.
Okay, then you go to when he was sued because he wasn't renting to black people. Then you go to his policies when he had black people renting from him. He was charging them double. Okay, and then you go to when he said that couldn't no blacks work in none of his casinos or anything, and he hired more foreigners, as he's still doing as president, and he wouldn't hire no minorities.
Wasn't him and his father?
His father was a Klansman, but and held an upper hand position. But I'm not gonna blame him for what his father did. I'm just talking about him. Period. His philosophies, his attitudes, what he's saying and how he's saying it. Look what he's saying about women. Look what he's saying about the Mexicans. Look how he's trying to take up the right nationalist agenda. That's what I'm talking about. So when you see what he's doing, and you see what he's saying, and you see how he's been like this over the years, and then he say, I'm a nationalist.
You see which direction he going.
Well, I mean, if it's a duck and he's showing you the duck walk and swim, and then he say I'm a duck, what are we supposed to do? We not supposed to take him as a racist?
Exactly, he's going in that direction.
Well, I live by the philosophy to not make assumptions. No matter what, no matter how everything, you can't believe everything you see. So
wait, but
you may seem to you that
do he be standing in front of you on TV? Don't you see him on TV standing in front of you talking?
Plain and simple. Listen, Sax. He may good and well be one. But I'm not gonna point the finger at him and call him just outright call him a racist. You know, maybe like I said.
Are you doing this for real? Just like really have a nice conversation?
This is a power play for him. It ain't got nothing to do with race. This is all about money and power and influence over markets and real estate and shit like that. This ain't got nothing to do with race. And ultimately, he don't care. He don't care one way or the other. He hate poor people. He don't care if they black, white, or whatever.
Okay. Now Okay, I could go with that issue, but mostly of his policies and most of the things that he do is to put people of color or them into a position where they get beat.
They say name 3 black people that's in his office up under him, and can nobody name them?
Well, you have to understand this, Sax man. He gonna have no blacks around him. If he didn't hire, if he didn't hire them to do his casino and to clean his floors, he's not
gonna have him in the
White House.
I mean, at the end of the day, if he is a racist, so what? He's still in the office. So what? What's more important? What's more important? Him being a racist or us doing what we got to do to counter these policies and stuff that he's enforcing?
You don't think that's harmful enough? The fact that we got a racist.
But what can you do about it? He's in office.
Vote him out. Vote him out.
There's a lot you
can
do.
Vote him out.
This is
okay. We got 2 years before that can take place.
No.
What you gonna do in the 2 years?
This is what we're gonna do. Wait a minute. Hold on, John. This is what we're gonna do in 2 years. This is what we're gonna do before 2 years. Okay. I'm glad Tony Stone asked that question because that's the $1,000 question being asked from our millennial because our kids are asking the same question. Okay. This is what you got to do. Okay, people, I want everybody to understand this. Next week, we're going to talk about it even more and get even more deeper into it. Everybody should right now be registered. Okay, what you got to do is take over the House. I don't care if you put an independent, Bernie Sanders or Sheila Harris. I don't care who you put in there. You got to take over the House. Okay, because if you don't take over the House, one, you cannot start impeachment proceedings against the president. So you take over the House, and then you take over all them investigations that the Republicans refuse to look at. Okay? And then you put the truth out. Then you bring all the peoples back in there like Lowy Lugowski and all the people that put their fingers in the American people's eyes, and you sit in there and you roast them in those chairs. Okay? Make them talk. Okay? Then you try the president for high crimes and treason and impeach him. Now, you also got to take the Senate, okay? And the only way you're going to take the House, the Senate, the only way you're going to get issue 1 on the books, the only way you're going to stop all the racist policies, and we're going to go into about police officers coming back to work that has killed unarmed black men. I'm going to talk about the panel I was on, is that November 6th, everybody in America, that 47% of people that did not vote have to come out and vote.
I agree with you.
Because if you don't vote, a lot more can happen in the next 2 years.
Yeah, it could get worse. And even when everybody shows up on November 6th and votes, in favor of equality in our democracy, fair policies, fair leadership. We still got a long way to go before these racist policies that y'all talk about. They have been existing since the foundation of this country.
That's correct because
Trump ain't these racist policies ain't something that he just
But see that's what
just started.
That's the real. Wait a minute, John. That's what we got to get away from. That's what we got to get away from.
Right. So we vote on November 6th.
I understand the Trump, as I told everybody before, Trump is not the start of this problem.
No, he's not.
Racism was around before us, before me as a kid. I lived up under Jim Crow law. This certain part of the cities that I couldn't walk in.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
I watched my friend get hung in Gordon Park. Okay. I watched the police get out of the cars when the police kids came down to Squinski Park with baseball bats. And if we had a stick or something, we got beat up by the police.
They came in 110th and Woodland Projects where we lived at in the 60s and beat our ass just for the hell of it.
So
still do that today.
So I understand it. So what we have to do, Tone.
You talking about white people or you talking about the cops?
White people and the cops.
So what we got to do, Tone, is this. We got to vote. And then once we vote, we got to start changing the policies. That's why the Republicans don't care about Trump. Okay, Trump's a figurehead. Okay, they're taking over the courts, and they're taking over the courts for a reason. Okay, that way because we are a society with laws. Okay, and in society, the courts look around and they talk about the laws, LGBT, marriage equality, or John. If John gets stopped or something wrong with the police, he got to go to court or whatever, okay? They want control of the court, okay? That's what everybody didn't look at in 2016, okay? That they wasn't trying to take the presidency. They weren't trying to take Obamacare. They didn't care about that. They wanted to get in office so they can take the courts. Trump has put over 82 justices on the court in lifetime positions, and they haven't even heard a trial of a dog barking loud. Okay, that's a problem. But I want to go right there from that sex, man, because in Cleveland, Ohio, we have had.
They see they put his dues in place. Obama didn't do this.
Well,
man,
that's real.
Well, if Obama, I'm gonna say this again on President.
He had a lot of power to do the things.
Well, I'm gonna say this on the President Obama's thing.
Even Bush, before he went into office, put all his people. He pardoned people, put his people in power.
That's the problem with politics and with
Right.
government in the first place. When any particular person gets in power, they put their people in place. It's not supposed to work like that.
Right.
That's why they never fair. That's always a tug of war between this side and that side. It's not. That's never going to work like that.
That's why ain't no black people in the White House.
It's never going to work like that. We
his
always
people
going to be
in there.
complaining for 1,000 years from now, as long as it's work, as long
But
as the system
right,
is like
right
that.
here, this is the classic example of the system that we're talking about right here.
In the city of Euclid?
In the city of Cleveland and Euclid, with the activists, the NAACP just put out a travel advisory in the city of Euclid telling black people to stay out of the city. Okay, but see, this is the problem that I have, and I want everybody to chill out for a minute because I want y'all to get serious on this because
I'm very serious. That's the truth.
pull into your mic, John, because you got your mic too far.
Yeah, I'm very serious. The LBG people, the women's rights, Me Too movement, Hispanics, everybody did come up, but the blacks didn't.
Well, see, you have to look at this, and that's an issue right there that we can talk for about a couple of minutes into it. See, the problem with us, I'm gonna say with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna need 10 minutes at the end of the show for Tone. I got questions.
We allow our system to be broken down, and it goes back to is that when our people make it, they leave. Okay. Nobody stays in the village to take care of the village. If you go into the Jewish communities, everybody take care of each other. They all business. If Tone got a store, they put all the business into that store. You cut hair, they come over there and everybody get the haircut. We too busy trying to compete with each other. Okay, and the biggest problem is that when we compete with each other, we forget about the education and training of our kids. Okay, then we forget about our home structures, and then we begin to start thinking about, well, I don't care, that don't happen to me. And that's the problem right here. That's why our communities, as I told the activists when I was on the violence summit in Columbus, okay, is it their goal to make police officers rich? Or is it their goal to tell police officers that it is profitable for shooting unarmed black males? Okay, and I want to explain what I'm saying here because the activists.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that question goes out to the activists.
Right, the activists got an attitude and couldn't answer because I asked the one question: what has changed in 40 years that you've been out here marching in the street getting your picture taken? What has changed? Okay, nothing. I can tell you what has changed. Okay, because they flipped the question back to me. Okay, so I'm gonna go there for a minute, but I want to go back to my statement that I just made. Is it your goal to make police officers rich or profitable for shooting unarmed black males? And is it your goal to tell Tone or the police officers, now I'm not going to first person, I'm just saying that because we're talking, that it's okay to kill black males because you're going to get paid? And they couldn't answer that question, so let me verify it for you. One, every police officer knows now that if he shoots an unarmed black male, there's a possibility that the city is going to come and fire him for the activists. Okay? 100 cases, Saxon, we talked about that 2 years ago. 100 cases of police officers being disciplined, suspended, or fired for killing or being involved with black males. Guess how many returned to work? Turn back to the job.
100.
There you go. And guess how much the minimum payment they got when they returned to the job? Think about me being off for 3 years. making $75,000 a year.
200,000, 250,000.
Plus interest.
And guess who gonna pick up the tax?
And penalty. The taxpayers.
Woo-hoo.
Okay?
Man.
Now, that's the first part of the question.
That's why I could never stand for the pledges of
Wait a minute. Now, that's why Cap Neal, so I'm going to say this. Now, here go the second question. To make it profitable, okay? Because what is the first thing all the activists do when a black male gets shot?
They go marching.
They go marching. Who got to come out there when they marching?
The activists.
No,
police.
The
They
police.
Get paid for watching.
The same people you call them baby killers.
Mm-hmm.
The same people you say is violating your rights. The same people you talking about you want fired. The same people you demanding the city to fire. They're coming out there being paid $40 an hour.
They're not talking about them cops. They talk about the cops that killed
But,
somebody.
we talking about period.
Yeah.
Because
No,
guess
I'm talking
what?
about- yeah, they
while
talking
you protesting, I'm getting paid.
Yeah,
Wait,
but,
wait,
but you trying to make it seem like they're saying all cops are bad
Wait,
cops.
wait.
They're complaining about
It
one
doesn't
particular
make it doesn't
cop
make
in,
it.
in,
wait,
in
it
any
doesn't
incident.
make Tone. It doesn't make a difference what they
So the
talking about.
cops that are there because they're ordered to go there and man
give me a
that
minute.
Sean has
post.
a point.
Tone,
Sean has a
Tone,
point.
give me a minute.
Let him get to that
Just
point.
get
then
back
you will
down.
understand.
Okay.
You will
Wait,
understand.
it doesn't matter what you the protesting for. Your job, your goal is not, because guess what happens when, as a police officer or individual out here in the community who they say violating your rights and stuff, they're looking at it being profitable. They don't give a shit.
Yep.
Okay. Period.
Yeah.
So when you come protest,
they love that overtime
but-
or that bonus pay, whatever you want to
wait,
call it.
yeah, it's
They
not,
need it.
It's not even bonus pay, because guess what? When I arrest you while you protesting, you're paying me a minimum of $40 an hour. You pad my pension by thousands of dollars.
Yeah, but what are we talking about here?
We talking about this.
What are we talking
We're,
about?
talk-
Instead of coming
we're
out-
talking about activists coming out protesting against police officers and not doing the proper thing, only for photo ops, getting police officers and city officials to not do the proper thing, do not do due process, having them fire them because you want them fired. Don't give them the due process. The same person you had fired is coming back to work 2 years later, getting $300,000, going back out on the street, doing the same thing again.
Because they listen to you and everybody screaming, take his job, take his job, take
And
his
they
job.
did the same thing with Michael Amiot. Same thing in the city of Euclid. Michael Amiot, okay, was not fired for the incident that he was filmed on because he was in policy. He was within Euclid policy, okay? They didn't fire him for that. They fired him for discipline that he was already suspended for, already disciplined for.
So what that got to do with the activists then?
Because you know what? The activists came into Euclid City Hall and they said, we want him fired. We're going to burn the city down. We're going to act up.
But obviously he needed to be fired if he was fired for previous infractions.
You can't fire.
And that just shined the light on him.
But what Sean is trying to say is, without due process,
you can't fire a person by due process.
That's what he's talking about.
The activists didn't fire him. The judges
No.
fired him, or the city
They
fired him.
listen to the
If you listen, Tone, the activist is the one who comes and press the city to do the action.
Right.
Okay, but what's more important here? Do Amiot deserve his job back?
Yes, because you
No,
know
he don't.
Yes, he do.
No,
You know
he
why?
don't.
Because
No,
you.
he don't.
Yes, he do.
No,
Because
he don't.
Tone, listen, right here. Let me tell you something. If I grab you right now, took you to court, right now, you didn't do nothing, and I said you did this, okay? Should you go to jail for 2 years without without due process? It's a yes or no question.
No.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. Then he should get his due process.
Exactly.
Go through the.
That's not what I asked you. I said, does he deserve the job of a police officer?
I said yes because he
No,
didn't
he
get.
don't.
He didn't get his due process.
Because regardless of
Wait,
whether he
wait.
got due process or not, when he beat up the girl in school, was he in the right for that?
He should have got fired for that.
Okay, then. So he don't
But you-
deserve to be a
but
police
you can't
officer.
come
That's
back.
what I'm saying.
You can't come back on him, Tone.
I agree, Tone.
Tone, you can't come back on him for that.
That's what he got. You said he got fired for past
But you
infractions.
already suspend me for that. How?
Personally,
He didn't
I
deserve
don't-
to be a police officer in the first
Personally,
place.
I don't think he should be a cop.
He didn't deserve it in the first place.
Tone, come on.
He didn't deserve
Wait,
it in the first
Tone,
place.
It doesn't make a difference whether you deserve it or not. If
That's
I
all he asked. That's all he asked. Does he
Wait,
deserve to be a cop?
Personally,
Wait,
I don't think he
and
needs
I
to be
said
one.
no.
That's all he
No, he
asked.
said did he deserve to get his job back?
Yeah, I asked. No, I asked did he deserve to be fired.
Right.
But
Fine.
he
And I
des-
said I
so-
said no. because he didn't get due process. That's why the court.
I'm not. Well, okay.
That's
I
why
wasn't necessarily referring to being fired for that incident. I'm referring to being fired. Period. He wasn't fit to be a cop. Period.
But you can't fire him because he's not fit to be a cop.
Why
period.
can't you?
Because when he first made that mistake and unfit to be a cop, you knew that, and I gave you a 15-day suspension and put you back on the road.
So back to my question. I mean, back to my point is, it's not the activist's fault that the city allowed him to get away with this over and over again.
No, this is where the activist's fault is at, Tone. You missing the point because you jumped back over.
I get your point.
But this
I
is
just
where,
don't agree with you.
This is where the activist's fault is. Well, it's not that you don't agree with me, and I understand that. But guess what? When the activists come into a city and violate a person's due process.
That's what he's really
okay. That's what I'm talking about. Due process. Okay.
How did the activists violate his due process?
Because when
all they did was protest.
Wait a minute. No.
How did they violate his due process?
Because they went to the public official.
They don't got nothing to do with the city hall's decision.
Yes, they do. They do have. They have to do.
No, they don't.
Because city hall only fired the man.
If that was the case, then every time you see a cop on TV for killing somebody, they'd be fired.
They are.
No, they're not.
Look at
no,
Cleveland.
they're not.
Look at Cleveland.
No, they're not.
Look at Cleveland.
You just said 100.
Look at Cleveland. Tone, back up. Wait a minute. Hold on. Look at Cleveland. The activists had look. And this is the one that's gonna rock your world because
come on,
okay? Because
for every case you can name,
Tamir Rice,
that's one case out of dozens where they don't go to jail, they don't get fired or nothing.
So we're talking about when activists.
You talking about one case?
Wait a minute. You got Alan Bruford. You got.
Once again,
wait a minute.
You one case.
Everything. Wait a minute. Back up. You got 13. Timothy Russell and Brown.
Out of how many
13.
cases? You got in the same amount of years. Out of how many cases, Sean?
You're talking about hundreds of cases.
Thousands of cases.
But so everybody who shoots an unarmed black male doesn't shoot an unarmed black male in controversy, and the city fires him because the city can't
But
fire
we're talking
them.
about the ones where the protesters make a big deal.
We're talking about that.
The protest made a big deal, but Timothy Russell made a big deal.
Out in Cleveland alone,
Tamir Rice
I'm
made
talking
a big
about
deal.
99 cases in Cleveland alone. Out of when that chase took place, the protesters had 6 supervisors on trial right now.
Yep.
Arbitrator overturned all their suspension, all their pays, back money because the city of Cleveland, your black mayor and your black police chief violated their due process rights when they were before they were supposed to do that.
So in other words, you allow people to scream in your ear until you gave in to their demand.
The second thing, wait a minute, hold it right there, because you asked
what he's saying.
You asked a question. I'm breaking it down to you right now.
What question did I ask?
So well, let me break it down so the audience can know right now. You had the 137 shot chase behind Kirk Middle School.
Yeah.
Okay.
East Cleveland.
Hold it right there. Don't say nothing. Just listen me out. You had every Cleveland police officer on duty that day violate the chase policy. Okay. You had 100 officers involved. Okay. Out of that 100 officers involved, 13 got fired. Arbitrator returned 12 of them. Okay, because Brelo was sacrificed. They returned 12 of them back pay, back seniority. Okay. 6 supervisors was 2 of them was demoted, suspended, and fired. Arbitrator returned the sergeant that was fired, who went and sit in the park and let the chase go on.
Right.
Arbitrator, he returned him because city of Cleveland failed to give him their due process. The other 4 supervisors got their money back, got their rank back, because the city of Cleveland failed to give them their due process. Alan Bruford, the black officer that just went through trial, the city fired him 2 years ago. The arbitrator just ruled, due to the city's failure and letting the activists put pressure on them to not give this officer his due process, he's back on the job with another payday of $200,000 to $300,000. Okay. Now, city of Euclid, Michael Amiot is back on the job because the arbitrator has ruled the city of Euclid violated his due process rights. Okay. And he's back on the job with a $200,000 payout.
You have to be fired
now
after you've gone.
This is my solution for the activists, because when I talk to the activists, I'm also bring the solution. Okay. You want to protest a police shooting, do it at the Board of Elections. protest down at the board of election, march everybody in there, get them registered, and then protest again just before it's time, right, the day it's time to vote, and everybody mark in there, okay? The second thing is...
Okay, now hold on. Let me stop you right there.
Let your voice be heard that
because you said that in the city of Cleveland, let's stay right here at home. We got a black mayor, black chief, black council people. We got black people in the office. So what good is what is voting them in going to solve?
I'm not talking about them.
No, but you're saying
they got to go.
No, but you're saying go out and vote. All right. So the people that I'm sure that you supported during election time, these people that are in office right now, I'm sure you didn't vote for their opposition. You supported these people. You voted them in. Okay. And what has changed?
Nothing.
Okay, then.
So that's why Tone.
So listen. So what you're saying about it's not the activists' fault. It's the system. It's the system's fault.
No,
you can't blame it on the activists.
It's past the 60.
You can't blame it on the activists for exercising their right.
No, Tone. You're not understanding me. But
I'm understanding you clearly. But
you got to change.
That's a cop out. That's a cop out.
You got to change the system.
That's the system.
You're not just voting for people. You voting for policy.
The system you
voting for policy.
The people
voting for SB.
Listen. The people that's in office right now are.
You got to vote them out.
Or on the side that you vote for.
You got to vote it out.
So what policy are you
Tone,
changing?
you got to vote them out.
What policy are you changing?
You have to vote for the SBs and HBs.
Tone, you don't have to vote them out. And let me tell you how you change something, Tony. See, this is the problem that nobody thinks about. Okay, you want to stop binding arbitration? Go get a person to write legislation, walk the street, get signatures, put it on the ballot, and then go down there with your people and vote for it.
Yeah.
And when you vote for it,
that sounds much better.
Wait a minute. When the law, when it passed, the law says that the city of Cleveland can no longer vote for arbitration. Okay? Because let me tell you what happens with arbitration. 99% of arbitrators return the union worker back to work. If you go to the Civil Service Board, as everybody didn't listen when his boy Eric Jonathan Brewer told you, if you go to the Civil Service Board, 99.9% the state Civil Service Board agrees with the government and leave that employee fired. Okay? This is the problem. We're not looking for solutions when we march. That's my problem with the activists.
Just want to make noise.
Everybody can march tomorrow and get your picture taken and go down to the next thing.
Just want to make noise.
And then we go to the next killing. How many killings have we had? Tamir Rice. You want me to name all the black men that have been killed down and all the marches that has been done? And the question is, what has changed? Nothing. Police officer get fired. 2 years, he's back with $200,000. And another black man is killed the next day. And you out here taking a photo op? You standing in front of Euclid City Hall and a black man get killed? And you standing in front of Euclid City Hall and you asking for them to fire another police officer who violated somebody's right and not give him the due process, and you just went through this?
He's just going to win and come
right
back.
This is the problem I have. That's the problem I have with actors. Art McCoy been out here marching for 47 years. Now, the question I'm going to give you that was asked earlier, what has changed?
Nothing has changed.
A lot has changed.
Nothing has
changed.
And
I'm going to tell you what has changed, okay? See, that's because you haven't looked.
Okay.
Wait.
Just tell us what changed. Don't spare us the story. Tell us what
changed.
changed.
Beat up
tell us what changed.
That's what changed.
This is changed. Residency law was put into place for a reason, okay? Residency laws were put in place to stop people from coming into your community with no interest, nothing to lock them into the community, taking your resource out of the community and leaving and then coming back treating you like cattle. Okay? Residency law is gone. The descent degree that was fought for to hire and put minorities on jobs is gone. College entrance descent degrees that made universities bring black kids into those universities for education is on the way out. Okay, then you go back to fair housing. Okay, go back to 1966. The Voter Rights Act is being gutted right before your eyes today. There are over 40 different things that has changed that people have fought for, your ancestors fought for, put on the books.
So what you're saying is the things that have changed for the worse. So in essence, nothing has changed
because
it
our
hasn't gotten
faith,
any better.
Wait a minute, but no, I'm talking about, yes, we let it get, it did get better, okay? It's not better now, okay, because we let it go. We have separated ourselves again. That's what activists are supposed to be fighting for. That's what activists are supposed to be stopping, okay? You have to get legislation. You got to change the mind thinking tone of going out, getting your picture taken and your photo op and wasting. You know how all the money city of Cleveland wasted for the Tamir Rice protest? Close to $10 million.
Yeah.
$10 million.
Plus $6 million.
That's why we don't have police officers on the street. That's why our trash ain't getting picked up like it's supposed to.
All the people who got arrested wasn't even from Cleveland. They were out of towners coming to protest.
Right.
They was paid protesters to come in.
Well, they wasn't paid, but you know what it was?
Paid
The
protesters,
problem
man.
is that the People Revolutionary Army came in and jumped in because black people didn't want to come out. So they
came out. They was on the game. It's a playoff game.
No, but now
Then they watched LeBron.
No, but
they was right down there watching LeBron. Cleveland people, ain't no but they was right down there. They did not care. People from Cleveland did not care. All the time.
Well, I said they was watching LeBron.
Where all the people from Cleveland at?
But wait a minute, John, that's what I'm saying. They didn't come to protest. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay,
Yeah.
they didn't come to protest. But right there, you know what?
Wait, can I have a
go
ahead.
Go ahead. You got 2 minutes.
Okay. Because I wanna implement this on my show. It's called Inside the Sax Man Studio, and it has several questions for my guests. I'm gonna use Tone as my
well, you got 2 minutes.
You
Tone,
ain't
go
ask my
ahead.
permission.
All right,
for
Tone.
this, man.
Oh no, go ahead, give it to him.
I'm gonna ask you some questions, and you answer them in the best way you can. Okay. What is the first thing that you do or think when you wake up?
Get some coffee.
Hot or cold?
Hot.
Tacos or burgers?
Neither.
Ass or titties?
He's a virgin. I mean, he's a he's a veggie. I meant to say.
I like vagina.
Hey, he's a veggie. He's a veggie.
He's a veggie. Okay. How many times a day do you think about sex?
All day, every day.
All day, every day. What's the worst job you ever had?
Being a maintenance man, taking out trash and cleaning up bathrooms after college students.
All right. What's the best job you ever had?
Probably
sitting here at STM.
Legal professional employment, probably the job I work right now.
Selling dope. Okay.
I said legal and professional.
All right,
man.
okay. That's legal profession now. You know, you got a campus card.
What's up like that?
You got, okay, weekends or weekdays?
Weekends.
Let's see. If I was a boss, I would be
an asshole.
Yes, that's about
Well, we know that.
All right, finish the sentence here. I always wake up
with money on my mind.
I look for a blank in a woman.
Intelligence.
My favorite position is
doggy.
All right, if I was lost in a deserted island,
this come from?
and I could have anyone with me,
All right, sex man, come. That's the last one right there.
Hold on, I didn't hear the question.
If I was lost on a deserted island, and I could have anybody with me, it would be
you or me. If I'm lost,
you motherfucker.
If I'm lost on a deserted island, and I can have anybody with me. I'm taking Beyonce from Jack.
Woo! And there you have it. You was inside the Sax Man studio.
right there, folks. Hold on. Hold that thought. Everybody, hold their mics. Hold their mics.
Fan base is big, I can't lose. Chicken bow down, I'm the next to rule, but I'ma stay on the cool. Remain on the under, cause like Andre 3000, your boy's ice cold. Ain't no limit to the gimmicks and ways to make money. No limit to the just to act funny when you get that cake, cause you spit that way. They may love you tomorrow when they hate you today. But yo, that's the way the story goes, so I was told. Following the ramble down the yellow brick road. But people leave at the end, ain't no pie to go. Just some platinum beats from the Cleveland streets.
Hey, Free Fall Thursday. First of all, right here with Tone the Stone. Tone, before we break it down.
Everybody out there listening, man, don't pay these old folks no attention. I'm talking to all three of these dudes, man. They old and they starting to get a little senile, I think, man. You know, you got to excuse them sometimes. They know not what they do it. But keep listening anyway, because it be entertaining. See y'all next time.
J Mac from the shop.
Hey, man, check me out next week, man. I'm going to have a special guest on here, and we're going to do some chopping up.
Hey, right there, Sax Man with the Sax Man show. Y'all gonna have to check my boy Sax Man out. Sax Man, what's on?
Yeah, that was just a trial to see if I can get that on, get that off of my show. I'm gonna be using it on all my guests that come on my show. Tone, thanks a lot. I appreciate that, man.
You got to change the questions up though, because now people can prepare for the answer.
Well, no, it's gonna be different every
you got to
week.
get different questions every time.
Definitely.
Well, right there, I want everybody. I want to thank Sir Charles from Moss Point, Mississippi, for coming out there with us today, singing in the Blue Room.
Charles Barkley.
Y'all go get his CDs and everything.
Get your name back, Charles Barkley.
Hey, I want everybody to be with us next week. Next week, we're going to have a special guest in the studio. We're going to talk about crime and corruption in the city of East Cleveland. He's going to tell us about what's going on. Also, we're going to be doing a little pre-election, and I want everybody to get out and vote November 6th so we can make that change.
Sax Man for Mayor, East Cleveland.
As your host, Sean L. Peace.
You've been listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 on STMK Radio 100.